Audio Jungle.
The Future Shock is a book about the psychological state of individuals and societies when confronted with accelerating rate of change. Mainly due to technologies, it was written by Alvin Toffler, an American futurologist, and was published in 1970. First of all, Toffler described future shock as the shatter and stress disorientation that we induce on individuals by subjecting them to too much change in too short a time. Toffler touched on almost all life areas to illustrate the future shock in order to understand this diagnostic of future shock. Toffler separated his books in 6 parts: the death of permanent transience, novelty, diversity, limit of adaptability, and strategies to survive. The death of permanence. The fourth industrial revolution causes shift in Western societies. The rapidity of production, whether we're talking about goods or services. That these high technologies permit produce a concrete force that reaches deep into our personal lives. This force compels us to act out new rules and confronts us with the danger of a new and powerfully upsetting psychological disease. This is future shock. It's a state of an internal and external being that makes us experience supernormal rate of change. Transience. The concept of transience provides a key to explain the problem of high-speed change in a new way. Rapid change drives societies toward rapid way of creating, producing, living through the conception of short-term projects in the field of architecture. For example, modularism is observing the conception of apartments and space that can be transformed completely because their structure. This way, this accentuates the short-term relationship that we have with objects that throw away society, as Stapp will put it, or the economy of obsolescence, as we all say it. We also have short-term human relationship, the rise of mobilization and traveling around the world. Being backlog of commitment mobilized, people don't have attachment to their family bird. They have an ability to replace friends with other friends because they move more present in their new space, share their new interests, etc. This ability is also make the citizen of superior industrial society capable of easily changing their jobs and careers. They actually think in terms of serial careers and not in terms of a career. Toffler also aborts the organization of the future, which breakdowns bureaucracy to become adhocracy, the rise of the project or task force management due to their high rate of turnover results in transient teams, whose members come together to solve a specific problem and then separate this result on short-term organization that are destroyed when they no longer serve. High hierarchy is impacted as well. There is a switch from vertical to lateral communication system. Decision making is no longer the monopoly of managers. In this type of organization, all professionals from different fields are brought to work together. Interdisciplinary is a quiet presence of all this new structure or of organizing work accentuate the existence of entrepreneurialism within the hearts of large organizations. Novelty. Super-industrial societies can also be defined by a scientific trajectory. Biology constitutes the center of these super-industrial societies. Tremendous technological developments play a huge role in the orientation of biology evolution. In this direction, microbiology was very developed in the first place in Japan. This field plays a great role today in a food industry that is based on processes which bacteria are used. The orientation by which biology was developed poses ethical questions. Cloning, for example, can be destructive if we choose to reproduce what is morally conceived to be wrong. The pursuit of embryonic makes one question the definition of parenthood. It is a legal matter or biological matter. In all cases, the rapid speed by which our societies advance in all life areas, and specifically in biology, generates the rise of a new model of a child wearing such as single-parent adoptive children, legal parents, homosexual marriage, etc. The Novelty Apart Awards also the change of economic sector due to technological acceleration. There is a shift from the economy of the goods economy service rise the strange of sector called experience industry. It's all about the focus of manufacturing toward the psyche experience of consumer when consuming their products and services. Diversity, unlike the standardization that defines industrial societies of the late 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, super-industrial societies distinguishes by a diversity of services and goods. If we take an example of Philip Morris brand of cigarette, it had sold a single major brand of cigarette for 21 years. But since 1954, it has introduced 6 new brands and so many options. What makes this diversity of choices possible is, of course, advanced technologies in that sense. The diversity of services and goods will cause no more than uniformity. However, Toffler brings attention towards the fact that we are racing to over choice, the point at which the advantage of diversity and individualization are cancelled by the complexity of buyer decision-making process. Thus, choice may become over choice and freedom unfreedom. The limits of adaptability. There are discoverable limits to the amount of change that the human organism can absorb acceleration change. Without first determining these limits can aggregate the risk of throwing people into that peculiar state that Toffler has called future shock. Its symptoms vary according to the stage of intensity of disease. These symptoms range all the way from anxiety, hostility to helpful authority, and seemingly senseless violence to physical illness, depression, and apathic correlation between change and illness are proven to exist. Toffler put it, change carries a psychological price tag with it, and the more radical the change, the steeper the price. We are not infinite resilient. Strategies to survive. Toffler, the answer to future shock is a different kind of change that takes drastic social, even political action. The clear answer is to capture control of the accelerated threats itself. This requires to take under control technology strategies to survive. Future shock is not only about taking control of the accelerative thrust. Education must shape into the future. Chance, that is to say that we should teach children about future. Visualization through exercise. Decision making must include everyone in politics, in industry, in education. Goal set without the participation of a disaffected will be increasingly hard to execute. The continuation of top-down technocratic goal setting will lead to the greater and greater social instability, less and less control over the process of an unchanged, ever greater danger of cataclysmic mean destroying upheaval.